Carl Jung discovered that you can see someone's true character by paying attention to just two things. Not their words, not their achievements, not even their actions when people are watching. Jung found that two specific psychological reveals expose who someone really is beneath their mask. And most people give away these secrets without realizing it. Picture this moment. You're sitting across from someone you thought you knew, a colleague, a friend, maybe even your partner. They seem genuine, trustworthy, put together, but something feels off. You can't put your finger on it, but your instincts are telling you there's more beneath the surface. Jung spent decades studying what he called the persona, the mask we'll wear to hide our true selves. But he discovered that no matter how carefully someone constructs their image, these two psychological tells always slip through. And once you know what to look for, you'll never be fooled by a false persona again. These aren't complex psychological tests. They're simple observations that reveal the deepest truths about human nature. And by the end of this journey, you'll not only be able to read others like an open book, but you'll understand yourself in a way you never thought possible. But here's what makes Jung's discovery so unsettling. These two reveals don't just expose other people's character. They force you to confront your own hidden nature. Jung wrote, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." And these two psychological windows will show you parts of yourself you've been avoiding. Most people go through life believing they can judge character through surface behaviors. They look for confidence, kindness, success, or charisma. But Jung understood that these are all part of what I call the performance layer. The carefully constructed image we present to the world. The real person lives beneath this performance. And Jung discovered that no matter how skilled someone becomes at managing their image, two specific psychological patterns will always reveal their authentic nature. These patterns operate outside conscious control, which is why they're so reliable. Jung wrote, "Thinking is difficult. That's why most people judge. But judgment based on surface appearances is almost always wrong. True character assessment requires looking deeper into the unconscious patterns that people can't fake or manipulate." What Jung found was that character reveals itself not in what people choose to show you, but in what they can't help but reveal. These two psychological signatures emerge whenever someone's guard is down, their mask slips, or they're under any kind of pressure. Jung's first character reveal is what I call shadow mapping, discovering someone's true nature by observing who they judge most harshly. Jung wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." This unconscious direction shows up most clearly in our judgments of others. When someone criticizes another person with unusual intensity, they're not just making an observation. They're projecting their own disowned traits onto that person. Jung discovered that what we hate most in others is often what we've buried deepest in ourselves. He called this projection the unconscious process of seeing our own rejected qualities in other people. The stronger the emotional reaction, the closer you're getting to their shadow. Let me show you how this works. Meet David, a successful architect who prides himself on his integrity. At every office meeting, David complains about his colleague Marcus, calling him fake and manipulative. David's voice gets sharp when he talks about Marcus's charm with clients. His jaw tightens when Marcus gets praise. But here's what Jung would see. David's intense reaction to Marcus isn't about Marcus at all. It's about a part of David that he's rejected. Deep down, David wishes he could be more charming, more socially skilled. But he's buried this desire because he believes it would make him fake. Jung wrote, "We cannot change anything until we accept it. Condemnation does not liberate, it oppresses." David's condemnation of Marcus is actually self-oppression. He's rejecting a part of himself that could serve him well. This is why shadow mapping works so reliably. When someone judges others harshly, they're always telling you something about their own internal conflicts. The traits they criticize most are often the ones they've pushed into their unconscious. If you've ever caught yourself judging someone and realized it revealed something about you, comment, "I see my shadow in my judgments." But shadow projection isn't always negative. Jung discovered that we also project positive qualities we're afraid to claim. When someone consistently puts others on pedestals, calling them so talented or so confident, they're often projecting abilities they possess but don't acknowledge in themselves. The key is to watch for emotional intensity. When someone's reaction to another person is disproportionate, whether negative or positive, you're seeing their shadow in action. This reveals not just what they've rejected in themselves, but also what they secretly long to express. Jung's second character reveal is what I call mask maintenance, observing how someone behaves when their carefully constructed image is threatened. Jung wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But most people spend enormous energy maintaining who they think they should be. This maintenance requires constant effort, and Jung discovered that when someone's persona is challenged, when their mask slips or their image is questioned, their authentic character emerges in that moment of vulnerability. Here's how to spot it. Watch what happens when someone faces unexpected criticism, when their competence is questioned, or when they're caught in a mistake. Do they become defensive? Do they attack back? Do they deflect blame? Or do they pause, reflect, and respond authentically? Let me illustrate with Sarah's story. Sarah is a marketing director known for her calm professionalism. She's built a career on being the unflappable one, the person who never loses her cool under pressure. But during a high-stakes client meeting, the client criticized her team's strategy, questioning Sarah's judgment. In that moment, Sarah's persona cracked. Her voice became sharp, her posture rigid. She interrupted the client, deflected blame to her team, and made subtle digs at the client's previous decisions. The calm professional disappeared, revealing someone defensive, insecure, and willing to sacrifice her team to protect her image. Jung would say this moment revealed Sarah's authentic character more than years of professional interaction. Under pressure, when her carefully maintained image was threatened, her true patterns emerged. Jung wrote, "The foundation of all mental illness is the unwillingness to experience legitimate suffering." Sarah's unwillingness to experience the discomfort of being criticized forced her into defensive patterns that revealed her character. But here's where this gets powerful for character assessment. These persona breakdowns don't just happen during major crises. They occur in small moments throughout everyday interactions. When someone's phone dies and they can't check social media, when they're kept waiting longer than expected, when someone doesn't laugh at their joke. Watch for micro-expressions, tone changes, body language shifts. These tiny moments when the mask slips reveal more about someone's character than hours of casual conversation. Jung understood that authentic character isn't what someone chooses to show you when they're prepared. It's what emerges when they're unprepared, unguarded, or under pressure. The most integrated people, those Jung would call individuated, show consistency between their persona and their authentic responses. Their public image and private reactions align because they've done the work of accepting themselves completely. Now that you understand Jung's two character reveals, let's explore why they work so reliably from a psychological perspective. Jung spent his career studying what he called the architecture of the psyche, how the mind organizes itself to navigate reality while protecting the ego. Jung wrote, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. But before transformation can occur, we must understand the chemical composition of each personality, their authentic character beneath the social performance." The reason shadow projection reveals character so accurately is because our unconscious mind can't distinguish between self and other when it comes to rejected material. When David criticizes Marcus for being fake, his unconscious is actually trying to process his own relationship with authenticity versus social performance. Jung discovered that the unconscious operates through what I call projection mapping. It casts internal conflicts onto external people to make them visible and workable. The intensity of someone's judgment always corresponds to the intensity of their internal struggle with that particular trait. This is why people who are genuinely secure in an area rarely judge others harshly for weaknesses in that same area. Someone who's truly confident doesn't waste energy criticizing others' insecurities. Someone who's authentically successful doesn't feel threatened by others' ambitions. Jung wrote, "Loneliness does not come from having no people about one, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to oneself." When someone consistently judges others, they're revealing their own inner loneliness, their disconnection from rejected parts of themselves. The second reveal, persona breakdown, works because maintaining a false image requires enormous psychological energy. Jung called this ego maintenance, and he understood that this system becomes fragile under stress. When someone's